Everybody, I hope y'all having a blessed day. But today, what I'm gonna talk about is just some life things. So I know I've kind of touched on this before in another one of my videos that I dealt with depression and things like that, which, it is consistently an everyday thing where we have to choose happiness and choose to, overcome those limiting beliefs and feelings that of lack that don't elevate us ultimately, because we currently live in a society that predominantly is pushing out the whole, I guess people have kind of made it like a trend to be anxious and depressed, like a cute thing, like glamorizing mental illness like it's something to be proud of, and it's really not, because there's so much more to life outside of that, because that is actually putting yourself in this mental constraint of fear and limitations, and it's removing like the joy of life because you're constantly overthinking, overanalyzing, or in your head about everything. And this is why I strongly believe the importance in mental health. And I understand that people will tell you go get a therapist or go get on antidepressants, or people will cope in other ways with other substances, which, I believe like everything in moderation, ultimately, as long as it's not detrimental to your health, it's all right. Like, you know what I mean? But you can't be using a certain substance or unhealthy coping mechanism as a crutch, because that's what you're always going to go and run back to. So instead of going to that, it can be better that you reframe your mentality, because that is a band-aid, like, no judgment to anyone who is coping in those ways or on antidepressants, because I tried that for a very short time and then I flushed them down the toilet, because I personally did not want to be dependent on the pharmaceuticals and on something outside of myself, because then eventually they want to increase your dosage and then you get to a point to where you can't really function off of the things, which was something very unattractive for me. So I did really not last long on those things, but I felt at such a low moment in my life. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try this. Let me just, if it's gonna help. But I moved away because I felt like it wasn't something that I wanted to incorporate in my lifestyle, because then the way that, we currently deal with mental health, they want you to be, taking that as like a daily supplement, which I would much rather than, okay, let me incorporate the use of natural herbs to deal with stress and things like that, because for me, I view it as something not harmful. So my point is, you have to keep an eye on your mental health, and your mental health is tied into so many other things, like your physical well-being. So also, I enjoy doing yoga a lot, but I know that I also lately have started to get myself into other forms of exercise now, like jogging. But poetry has been an all-time therapist for me, and I also want to tie back into the whole therapy thing, which, it can be helpful for some people, but I know that not everyone has access to that in the first place. So you don't want to hold yourself to this limitation because you think that help is only in a certain category of medicines or of therapists or whatever it may be, because ultimately, no matter if you are on that medicine, if you are with that therapist, you are the person who has to take control with your life. So I've always been writing since elementary school, but I got really into poetry, I think ninth grade. So that was something that I really utilized to become aware of my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, and express myself, because otherwise, prior to that, I found I actually bottled up a lot of those things and rather, suppress those things, which isn't really healthy. I'm like, okay, yeah, we gotta be positive, which is true, but you don't necessarily want to it's up to you, but personally I feel like you don't want to ignore those other feelings because they're all a part of the human experience. The problem that people get into is that they want to sit forever, and then that's when the depression comes, that's when the anxiety comes, that's when all of those other things come. So it's important to feel it in that way and let it go, and then reaffirm the positive thoughts within yourself for the life that you want to live. I am peace, I am love, I am joy, I am free, I am happy, I'm independent, I am self-sustaining, or whatever it may be. I have healthy relationships, or everyone loves me, or life is easy. Anything that you want to change your perception on, you can, but you have to be consistent with those thoughts. And it can feel like a chore at first to constantly monitor the thoughts you're having, but believe me, it will really change your life. And like I've said before, it is free to change your mind, so be sure to do it. So thank you guys for watching, and I know you got something out of this video, so be sure to leave a comment down below and continue the chat. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye.